to load in the model. So I'm going to go to File and Import. I'm going to navigate to where my 3ds file is. Tell that to open. You should be presented with this import palette. Now we've got a few different things that we can change in this, and it depends on what you want to do. So for instance, location, we've got center geometry and snap to ground. That's fairly straightforward what that's going to do. It's going to move your geometry to the center of the keyshot ground, into the middle of the screen, and the very bottommost object is going to snap to the ground. Now that can be really useful if you've finished your model. If you know that you want to still bring stuff into your model, if you want to carry on working on it and just update it, I actually would turn both of those off and do keep original. Reason being is that if I was to bring my stuff in from Vectorworks and have keep original on, it's going to come in at the Vectorworks coordinates, which means anything that I modify after that, I can export and import into here, tell that to keep original, and that will come into the exact same place. So just a nice one to know. I've finished my model that I'm going to work on today, so I'm going to do center geometry and snap to ground. Where we have size, again, make sure this matches the units you were using in Vectorworks. So if you modeled your stuff in millimeters, which everyone should have, make sure this says millimeters, otherwise the scaling is going to be wrong. It means your materials won't come up correct, your lighting won't react the correct way, and so on and so forth. Make sure your scales are correct. And then we get to the next one, up orientation. Now this is the one that drives me mad a little bit. Everyone knows that usually we draw in plan view in the X and Y axis, and then we extrude to the Z. This isn't always the case for all software. So sometimes you need to change this. If it's not Z, it will be Y, typically. So it depends what you've modeled in. Some newer versions of Vectorworks, not all newer versions for some reason, but some will actually flip the Z and the Y axis. So if you import your model and it comes in on its side, undo it, re-import it back in, change that to the other one. Make sense? People are nodding, I'm going to assume that makes sense. Environment and camera, adjust the camera to look at the geometry, but that's probably a good idea. We want to be able to look at what we're trying to visualize. Adjust the environment to fit geometry. Don't really need that just yet. Keep it ticked if you like. We're not going to set an environment just yet. And then lastly, assign materials from library. I would usually have that ticked. Because if you have a brick material, for instance, in Vectorworks, if it's called brick, this will read it, and it will apply a brick material from here to replace it. And likewise with concrete, with glass, so on and so forth. So if you're using the standard Vectorworks materials, this will allow you to automatically convert those to Keyshot. I'm going to stop rambling and click on the import button. Hope for the best. Hopefully it doesn't come in on the side. It came in on the side. So you see I kept mine to Y-axis. Does happen. I'm going to discard that one, make a new document. So have the same file to import. And now you see if I change this to Z, it should come up with the correct orientation. There you go, it's a bit more like it. Now, I don't have any materials on this at the moment, so I'm going to need to add some stuff to this. But again, what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to kind of roughly set this up. Do you guys need a couple of minutes to get your files in there? Or are you okay? It's coming sideways. So if your objects come in sideways, just click on File and go to New, make a new document. Import it again and just change that up orientation. So if it was Z before, change it to Y. If it was Y before, change it to Z. Whichever one makes sense.